There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking inside of my fucking head. The fucking weird ass bitches didn't want me to take a picture while I was at my luncheon with my coworkers. They were making me dizzy the whole time. This is crazy. Like I couldn't focus my eyes on the menu. Like it was just so much. Like I don't know how to explain it. I was lightheaded. I was off. They're sick in the fucking head. And the thing is, they don't want me in front of cameras. They don't want me in front of people. They don't want me doing anything that looks obviously like I don't do drugs. Because the fucking whorebag slept with these psycho terrorist fags and there are heterosexual, whatever you want, heterosexual psycho Egyptian American Muslim men that are serial killing, had kids with them, and now everybody wants them sentenced to fucking death, and they're punishing me because they don't want to die and leave their kids behind. As if I don't have kids. I want the bitches to die. I am like on another level. It's beyond. First of all, they're shocking me, so I sound choppy. But I am like so beyond just this shock. Like women, you just don't see them this way. These bitches are really, and the men laugh. They laugh when I say this. Like, what the fuck? Like as if this is really like, this is them. Dude, this is fucking crazy. The women are really psychotic and the men are making it obvious. They're talking in my head, saying the women are better than us, ha, and then the women are screaming, ha, you fucking bald bitches, you fucking whores, you stupid ass this, you're a retard, and they're actually causing you a stroke? You're a retard. They actually feel this, like, and the tone in their voices, like, this is how rich, high sedity, like, people are. Like, they're entitled to traffic people and torture them and rape them and drug them and make them, and impregnate them or abort their kids, or, like, it's fucking weird. The bitches are really fucking weird. Like, you can't take a picture right now. We don't care if you want to be in the picture or not. Like, it's just weird. We don't care if you want to go to work. Sorry. Ha, la, 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 la. Did you hear them, you stupid bitch? So, like, literally to prevent you from being in a conversation with the person in front of you. Like, they're screaming in my head. They are screaming in my head like this. I sound off, but I'm hoping that I make some sense. The terrorists talking in my head legit think they own me. They think they can decide how much, and with the weapon, they are murdering me. But they're trying to find a way to get away with it. It's one thing, and this is what I keep telling the piece of shits in my fucking head. If you're gonna murder me, then own it and do it. But these bitches want to traffic me and try to, like, use me as their puppet and shove drugs down my throat and tell me to lay on my back and spread my legs to losers and catch a venereal disease. And who the fuck cares? To them, I'm trash. It's fucking weird. And oh No, no, oh wait, that guy's hitting on you? Oh, and he looks like he could be successful. Oh, and he's very attractive. No, sorry, Renee, you can't talk to him. Sorry. Ha, you're having a stroke. You're having a stroke, but you sound retarded. Ha, stupid bitch, and you can't hear a word that they're saying. And you don't know shit, because every time you try to listen to anything, to educate yourself on anything, we sit there and we retard you. So what's the point? Like, no, he's way out of your league, honey. Go talking in my head this way, I swear. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. Now they picked the men, and they said that they don't give a fuck about the women or any women or kids at all. Like, they don't care who has to die to protect the men. I want those bitches to die in front of the men. Do you hear me? I have no feelings whatsoever about these fucking whorebags. I want them sentenced to death. Do you hear me? I want to rip those fucking losers' fucking hearts out. These bitches are psychotic fucking trash. I ran back in the restaurant and made sure to take a picture with my coworkers, all my colleagues, and I wanted to make. She's retarding me, and she's saying colleagues retard, not coworkers, not this. They're talking in my fucking head, dude. I want them to die. They are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They want to say that I was intelligent enough to get an average job, and then they want to sit there and like argue these points. Like, it's obvious they're manipulating records. Like, with the arguments they must be making are, oh, well, she had, she could have had an average job. She could have had, they want me just intelligent enough to cop a job at Walmart, okay? Or somewhere, and say, that's an honorable position because it's work and not a criminal. Okay, while they're laundering money, murdering kids, raping women, drugging them, and defaming them, and doing all this shit, imprisoning people, it's fucking crazy. For money. I want the bitches to die more than any fucking thing. I want them to die in front of the men. I want them to die. They are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them to die, but they don't want me smart enough to get a job that pays well enough to support my daughter to go through, to be involved in a sport, or to be involved in learning a musical instrument, or having music lessons of any sort, maybe singing, whatever it may be. They don't want me to have enough money to support my children in that way, but they want me to have enough money to barely pay my bills, to say, hey, I died on private property. Okay, so their investigation doesn't require anyone, the government, to entitlement to want to investigate, or to further investigate to see if these terrorists are actually conducting a legitimate investigation. I'm posting this to YouTube. I'm going to post this to YouTube, and then I'll just post it to my page. They want to try, and then they want me to have barely enough money left over to go do drugs and drink, and then they want me feeling insecure and ugly, so I'm laid up underneath some loser whose also only priority is to drink, although these aren't my priorities. This is what they desire for my life, so that they can get away with murdering me and saying it was due to my negligence. They want me laid up, and then and as many times as possible laid up with as many men as possible. Every single one of them, if they were to lay up with me. And this is how they're fucking playing it. They want them to lay up with me until I catch a venereal disease, I swear. And then to leave me, make me, and then find somebody else. All my exes, every guy I've dated so far has either gotten married or is now having a child. Like, haha, oh, nope, sorry, not that, he didn't have a disease. He doesn't have a job, he has a job and he's successful. Nope, sorry, he's attractive, you can't talk to him. Sorry, he looks like he'd help pay for your kids' tuition. Sorry, I swear. I swear. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. I want the bitches to die. I want them sentenced to death. I want them to die. I want the women, the fucking women, to die in front of the men. In front of them. I want those hookers to die in front of them. They murdered Mark and Jacob Iskander, and they ripped Nancy's heart out, and then they made her hair fall out, and they trafficked Rebecca Grossman, and they intoxicated her using this weapon that they're using to talk into my head. They timed that so perfectly so the boys would be crossing the road at the same time that she's driving, and they took control of her vehicle and they hit those boys, and I know because they take control of my car and they forced me to slam on the brakes. I want those whores to die, and I have 2 kids, and I have 2 kids. I want the bitches to die. The whole time I was there, they were pulling on my face, making me dizzy, making me like, it just, like I couldn't focus. It's not like ADD. It was like dizziness. It was like a dizziness. Like I couldn't focus. Although I could hold my conversations, but I was legit super dizzy. And it feels like this pressure on my brain. I don't know how to explain it. Like someone's like just playing with my brain activity, where my synapses would, you know how they would go from one to the other, like someone's interrupting it and forcing it to shoot in different directions. It's almost like a firework, like someone is like stopping it, and now it's like it's sparking and it needs somewhere to go, and it's like it's going in every direction. It's fucking weird. I feel off. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists using a war weapon to talk inside of my head. I want them to die. I want the whorebags to die in front of the men. In front of the men! In front of the men! I'm done. I want them sentenced to death. They are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my fucking head, and they live in California. They're on the same, what I believe is that all these targeted individuals, the terrorists that are behind them, are living in the same states as the victims of their crime, of the people that they're trafficking with this weapon, to keep them on the same like schedule. So because otherwise they'd be up all day, and they obviously have to go to sleep and they have to go to work, and so they're strategically depriving their victims of everything fucking possible, so that they can't move around, so they can't get resources. They make sure to fuck up their background so they can't get social security, or they play with their head and tell them we're real people, so they won't go seek medical attention because they're afraid that they're going to be drugged when it's like real people talking in their heads. And then they have no documentation to provide that they're seeking medical attention for voices in their head so that they can at the very least get Social Security. This is disabling. What they're doing is actually like disabling on a major level. This is absolutely true. The Social Security will immediately approve your Social Security if you have schizophrenia. And that's because the terrorists talking in your head are 100% you are 100% utterly disabled. There's that saying, and they're playing with my head. I can't remember what I was going to say. What is it? Something in utterly disabled. I can't remember. Anyways, like totally and permanently disabled. That is a fact. They don't want them finding resources. They don't want them applying for housing, so they fuck with their heads and they burn them. And so then these victims will go smoke marijuana or find other means that will alleviate their pain than to go seek a doctor. Because they're afraid they're going to get drugged, and then they get caught, and then they have a drug record, and that will stop you from getting housing assistance. That's a big red flag for the housing department because they're a federal agency and they don't approve anyone with a drug history. On top of the fact, they're fucking up their credit, and they want them when they do find a place for it to be a shithole of a place away from everyone, around other drug addicts or around drug addicts or other. That's them. When there are words like that don't make sense because they're clearly victims, it's the terrorists talking in my head. They want to force them around drug addicts and felons, okay, in a shithole place. So they want them to make just enough money to fucking pay for a shitty hole in the fucking wall and a fucking shit cigarettes and a fucking beer. And maybe cocaine or a fucking maybe some marijuana or whatever the fuck they're fucking sick in the head. And then they're ruining their driving records because they're making them dizzy and behind the wheel or whatever they're doing to them. Like with me, they used to make me, like my ex they were playing with his head. He would not pick up my kids. So I would have to fly. And literally it was within walking distance of the daycare. The terrorists talking in my head, they will say, get the fucking picture, bitch. Like they're making it clear. They're in control of my situation. As long as they're behind the weapon, they can control anyone and everyone around me and all my circumstances. They can take control of my vehicle, my devices, like my children. They can retard them. So they sat there and they played with his head till they retarded him. I mean, they gave him some serious brain damage. And he wouldn't walk across the street to pick up my kids, so I would fly to pick them up from work. And I had so many fucking tickets that they suspended my license several times, and it skyrocketed my insurance and my parents were paying for it. Hoping that I wouldn't get insurance, so I couldn't get a license, so I couldn't get a car, so I couldn't move around. Like, they are really sick in the fucking head. They are really sick in the fucking head. They are really sick in the fucking head. I want them to die. And then they're making their hair fall out. And they're making people, like they did me, 90% of my hair fell out. My face in pictures, my hair does not flatter my face now. And they did that intentionally. Right now, they're making my forehead swell, so it stretches the skin and I have a larger forehead. So, and in order to make sure that I don't find another haircut or like to cover it up with bangs, they made sure, sorry, they're playing with my head, they made sure that this was so thin that you could see my scalp if I were to cut bangs. they thin my hair so that no matter how I wear it, it's not flattering. Like I have bald spots everywhere. It's fucking insane. The bitches are insane. So I don't look good in pictures, so I can't market myself, so I don't feel confident. They're like, this is fucking crazy. And then on top of the fact, whenever someone takes a picture of me, they make sure that that person will stand in a position that is like the least flattering for me. All of my pictures, every single one of my pictures, they fuck up. Every one of my sister hired a professional photographer, and they highlighted all of our wrinkles. I swear. Like, the pictures look so shitty. Instead of smoothing out those lines and and I'll post those pictures. I don't have a problem. At this point, it's a survival thing. This is not I'm like, what's the word? Superficial. Like, I can't be on a superficial level with this shit going on in my head. I have to get real. These bitches are really fucking serial killers. They're talking in my head, and they're trafficking people, and it seems as though they're intending to murder my daughter. And I don't know how, if they're gonna give her a heart attack, or if they're gonna fucking slit her throat. I don't know. I want them to die. I want the bitches to die. I want them to die. To be behind the weapon that they're behind, okay, they have to have justifiable reasons or enough assets, and they have like a worldwide like significance, like Elon Musk. And I'm sure there are several others just like him that are just not mentioned in the media, that are even more, that are in much higher positions than him, and they're the ones that are permitted to sit behind the weapon. Okay, any average Joe has to have a justifiable reason. So these bitches went to court to fight that they have justifiable reasons, and the reasons that they traffic, they use the weapon in our countries, in the Middle East, to prosecute and persecute Christians, okay, and Muslims alike, and say that they needed refuge so that they could enter America. This part, I'm still trying to understand, like trying to figure out what piece fits in this puzzle to make sense of why they wanted us here. But they started this bullshit back in my country, and it was their parents. Okay, they murdered all these people and came and trafficked them here, and then the bitches that are talking in my head, their families, like, they know how to, they're strategic with their use of this weapon, know how to disguise the records, and entered into this country acting like they were innocent bystanders, and hey, they know about the weapon, they know the legalities to it, and although they're not of like any, financial, they have no actual like platform, but they have justifiable reasons, so they were given permission to use the weapon, and they're using it to traffic people in this country, and they're talking in my head. And it's a weapon of mass destruction. It's not just me. I'm just like an entry point, or I don't know exactly what I am in this situation, but I feel like it's like a folder. It's like they've identified people that they call suspects to a crime, right? And within that file, they're permitted to investigate, okay? Or investigate legally. They're entitled to investigate everyone within their networks and anyone that they encounter or have transactions with. That's what it seems like. Anyways, it's just long story. This, like, I'm going far deeper than I actually understand it, but from my understanding, they're trying to destroy certain records that provide the evidence that they're criminals, okay? And in order to do that, they don't want me to be around cameras. They don't want me to be around credible people. They don't want me in pictures. They don't want me around my daughter. They don't want me doing shit. Because they want to say that what I heard came from outside. If in fact the records were to be audited, then they can simply say that the voices I heard were from outside. And on top of the fact, okay, sorry, they're playing with my head. So that's one aspect of the situation. The other aspect is it's a mind reading weapon. So not only that, they're talking in my head, trying to manipulate me into believing something that isn't true. So because the weapon will record all of what you're thinking, and if it doesn't coincide with like your behavior, it's like it starts to show like there's a conflict there. So the terrorists try to manipulate you into believing something that's not true. So like I said, they'll tell their victims like, oh, we're real people, we're talking in your head, which is a fact, but they're doing that intentionally to have them avoid seeking medical attention. Like this is actually a medical situation. Like this is actually harming their health. They're murdering them just slowly. They're playing with my head. Sorry, I'm still trying to gather my thoughts. So, again, it's like, first aspect is to keep their victims away from cameras. The other aspect is to keep them away from medical attention and any resources. Then it's to break them down so that they're unrecognizable and they're this and they're like, this is crazy. And then and the aspect of their mind to make it coincide with their behavior and make it seem like as if it's not, like, for example, they'll sit there and call me a whore, because they want me to say, I'm not a fucking whore, I'm 40 years old, I can sleep with whoever I want, who the fuck is gonna judge me? And so that I will, like, fall into this fucking trap of being promiscuous and irresponsible, which is what they actually want. But in my mind, I'm agreeing to it. And they want you to like own it because it's another aspect to the weapon. So they don't want it to look like they're raping you. They want it to look like you decided those decisions. Okay? So that's another aspect to it. And and then they want these documents of you like doing drugs or, you know, whatever, or no pictures of, like, it's just, this is crazy. They're playing with my head so I can't communicate what they're doing to torture me. I just want you to know this is murder. They don't want me to communicate that they're murdering me because they're going to get sentenced to death. They're hurting me. They're blocking my mind from being able to articulate or communicate what they're doing to me so that they don't get convicted for the crimes they're committing. They're terrorists. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking inside of my head. They are talking inside of my fucking head. I want the bitches to die more than I have ever wanted any fucking thing in my life. The piece of shit talking in my head says Layomkin. That means never. Like, it will never happen. I'm far from a child. I would never do anything without the approval of the public. Okay? So this piece of shit that's talking in my head, doing things on his own, okay, like decisions, like not caring about what other people may think and just abusing and torturing and murdering people, okay, that's not, He's not dealing with the child. I'm on the contrary. I want them to die, and I fucking mean the goddamn shit. I want everyone to see what they fucking done. I want to expose them, and I want them sentenced to death in front of everyone, and I don't want to argue at all. And he thinks I'm a fucking child. That piece of shit has no idea. Lyomkin, in my mind, does not fucking exist. I said what the fuck I said. I want those bitches sentenced to fucking death. They are sick in the fucking head. You hear me?